One of the secrets to a successful life is how you take criticism. A lot of us, including me, when somebody gives us feedback, the first thing on a snap that happens to us is we become defensive. Today's lesson is for all those people who wish to take criticism like sugar. Accept criticism like sugar, which basically means that you do not become defensive. Like a sweet person, you welcome criticism, take feedback from it, and make relevant changes in your life to be successful. Hi everyone, my name is Radhan and I welcome you to Skillopedia, the place where you learn skills for the real world. Let's get started. The first question that I have for all of us is, what are your thoughts on criticism? Well, to mention my thoughts on criticism, I'd say it is something that helps us realize our faults and weaknesses. When somebody criticizes something about us, for example, saying something as simple as your handwriting is not good or the clothes that you wear are unprofessional, instead of getting defensive, we could actually look at it, instead of looking at it as a fault, taking it as a fault as though somebody is trying to highlight our faults and make us weak and spineless, we could actually take feedback from it. Don't you think? Think about it for a moment. It helps us course correct and achieve goals faster. My mom always used to say that there are only two types of people that criticize us, the ones that love us the most and the ones that hate us the most. So it's not about who does what, it's about what is being given to us. So in any way, whatever feedback is given to you, it gives you an opportunity to course correct, which basically means to make corrections in yourself. Because a person who loves you would give you feedback out of goodwill, but a person who hates you may as well give you feedback out of evil intentions. But then again, it is an opportunity for you to make corrections. So let's get going. In today's lesson, we will look at smart ways to accept criticism. We're just going to be talking about 3 simple ways in which you can accept criticism with real life examples. Are you ready? Let's begin the show. The first one is breathe, breathe, breathe. Let's understand this using an example. Imagine I say right now to you, your communication skills are so weak. What do you say? Do you say to me in a moment, as though your communication skills are good, Radhan? Or do you say, thank you very much for highlighting that. I'm still working on it. Which character do you think was better? The first way or the second way? In the second scenario, the person took a breath, accepted that yes, it is a problematic and it is a concern that I'm working on, and also mentioning that I'm working towards it in order to make it better. It's very important when we breathe, that we breathe when somebody criticizes us and take a moment instead of just jumping onto reacting it. It's natural to get defensive when people criticize you. But in that moment, what do you do? Do you immediately react to it? Or do you take a moment and pause and try to understand why is that person saying so? Before the urge to fight back, just breathe. It's very important that you try to understand the cause of why the person is trying to say that. And in that moment, you'll get some time to think. And therefore, it's important for you to breathe whilst the person is trying to criticize you. Avoid falling for initial reactions. For example, if your boss criticizes you for something, so instead of coming back immediately on it, try to breathe and find out the cause of it, most importantly. And if you think that you can course correct something about you, accept it and move ahead. But accepting does not mean you are weak. It means that you're genuinely trying to make corrections towards the feedback that is being given to you. So the first thing is breathe, breathe, and breathe. Give yourself time to think why it is happening and how do you want to react, or do you want to come back to the person by accepting it and by telling what are the things that you can work on in order to make things better. And finally, analyze your reaction is valid or worth. Immediately in that moment, try to think, however you were going to react to the situation, was it even worthy for your reaction, or was it even valid? Because a lot of times we end up saying things that we did not mean and we regret later. So in that breathing moment, breathing cycle, just realize, will it be worthy enough for future to look back at and be happy about? If not, then it's a good time for us to not react on spur of the moment. The next tip is it's okay to be disliked. One of the most important things that I learned from a book that I was reading recently was, no matter how good you are in your life, you may still not be liked by people. I repeat, please listen to the sentence carefully. No matter how good and great you are as a person, you may still not be liked by people. And if you have that thought in your head, you'll make your life easier. So it is okay to be disliked. Even I want to be liked by people, but if somebody does not like me despite me being good, that's absolutely all right. We need to feel comfortable in our skin. Criticism is a matter of personal preference. Some people may like us for who we are, and some people may not like us. As an open-minded person, do you give everybody the opportunity to just accept the fact that you may be liked and you may not be liked? It just goes to show how open-minded and comfortable and confident you are as a person in your own skin. You cannot satisfy everyone all the time. We've heard it all our life, correct? You cannot satisfy, but how many of us do follow that? If somebody doesn't like you, you tend to ask them, why do you not like me? Why do you not like me? It's okay to not be liked. But what you need to remember is just being a good person and continuing with your daily chores. And finally, it doesn't mean your work isn't good. If you're not liked, it does not mean what you're doing is not worthy of recognition. It just simply means it is the person's personal preference, but you need to continue doing what you're doing. The third and the most important is find light in dark. Growing up, my mother always taught me that whenever you see that there's a tunnel and there's absolute darkness, and if you look around, you'd see a spot with a tiny dot of light. Just keep walking towards that. Find that light in that dark situation and keep moving towards that, which basically means no matter how dark the situation and how rude the situation has been for you, focus on the higher cause. Focus on what you are targeting from that situation. What is the solution of it? And not how you have to put a show of your ego. Sometimes criticism may give you a positive perspective, and only very few people can look at that positive perspective. There's a very thin line between understanding who is criticizing you for your goodness and who's criticizing you for just making you a spineless character. So it's important for you to find that thin line, take the feedback wherever relevant, and continue doing your work. Because in the end of the day, you should remember, work is most important of all. It's not the situation, it's eventually the work and your energies that you're contributing towards the cause. That is important. Look at it as a favor. We've always heard it, when your enemies criticize you, look at it as a favor, because it is time for correction. It helps connect the missing dots. Whenever we are trying to be successful in our lives, but time and again we are failing and failing and failing, it's primarily because of certain skills that we are not good at. And in that moment, when somebody criticizes you, what do? You pause, you breathe, you tell yourself that it's okay to not be liked, and you work towards connecting the missing dots. How can you reach your goal to be successful? By possibly looking at that particular missing dot in your life, the skill that you're not good at. Try to connect that skill. For example, if you are an entrepreneur but you do not have managerial skills, or you have very bad public relationships, which basically means interpersonal skills, you're not able to connect with people, try working on your interpersonal communication, which basically means respecting everybody around you. And you may as well see a massive change in the teamwork that your team delivers towards you, and you may as well reach your goal successfully. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found useful ways of taking criticism positively. So the next time somebody gives you feedback, or let's say criticizes you, you know what to do. You've got to breathe, relax, look towards the higher goal, and make sure, are your actions going to be worthy and valid in the future, and act accordingly. For more such videos, keep watching, keep learning on Skillopedia. I'll see you soon.